Look, most of us grew up thinking cheese was this harmless comfort food. You throw it on a sandwich, melt it on some pasta, maybe grab a slice before bed, and never think twice. But here's what surprised me the most when I really dug into the research. The exact same food that feels warm and familiar can quietly mess with your digestion, your sleep, your blood pressure, and even your heart, especially once you cross your 50s and 60s. And the weird thing is, none of this happens overnight. It sneaks up on you slowly like a tiny leak in a roof you don't notice until the whole ceiling is soaked. So let's talk about why so many people run into trouble without realizing it. Think about those nights when you grab some cheese as a quick snack before bed. It feels harmless, right? Except here's the thing. As we get older, our digestion slows down. Stomach acid levels aren't what they used to be. Your body just can't break down heavy, fatty foods the way it could years ago. So, when you lie down right after eating cheese, it doesn't move through your stomach the way you expect. It sits there, it lingers, it pushes acid upward, and before you know it, you're waking up at 2 a.m. with that burning feeling in your chest, wondering what went wrong. A lot of people think it's just aging or stress, but often it's simply timing. Cheese late at night is a sleep wrecker for a lot of older adults, and most of them have no idea that something this small is the culprit. Where it gets even more interesting is not just when you eat cheese, but what kind you reach for. Those perfectly square, perfectly melting slices that look so convenient, they're not really cheese in the traditional sense. They're made from scraps, oils, stabilizers, dyes, and a mountain of salt. You know how you feel puffy or dehydrated after some meals? That's your body struggling to deal with sodium overload. And when you're older, your kidneys and blood vessels don't bounce back as quickly. It's wild how something as simple as switching to natural cheese like mozzarella or cheddar can make you feel so much better without giving up the flavor you love, something you feel right away. It's slow, quiet damage that builds up over the years. The good news is you don't have to give up melty cheese altogether. Just warm it gently instead of blasting it at high heat, and you're pretty much avoiding the worst of the problem. Tiny adjustment, big payoff. Now here's something that surprises almost everyone. Pairing cheese with sweet fruits like grapes or figs, something that feels fancy, healthy even, can hit your body in a completely different way. The quick sugar from the fruit spikes your blood glucose while the saturated fat from the cheese slows digestion. That combination hits harder the older you get because your insulin sensitivity naturally drops. You don't notice anything in the moment, but those spikes make you tired, thirsty, foggy, and over time they raise your risk for diabetes and heart problems. The funny thing is, you can still make that snack work by just swapping in lower sugar options like cucumbers or tomatoes. You still get that contrast of flavors without forcing your body to work overtime. Body can't always fight off the bacteria these cheeses may carry. It's not about being scared, it's about being smart. Most seniors have no idea their favorite fancy cheese could be taking advantage of a weaker immune system. Choosing harder cheeses is such an easy swap, and it keeps the flavor without inviting the risk. Another thing that catches people off guard is raw milk cheese. It sounds artisanal and natural because, well, it is. But without pasteurization, harmful bacteria can survive and slip right into your system. And the older you are, the harder it is for your stomach acid and immune cells to fight back. For a younger person, it might mean a rough day or two. For a senior, it can mean hospitalization. That's why choosing pasteurized cheese is one of the simplest ways to protect yourself without changing anything about the flavor you enjoy. But let's be honest about something else. One of the biggest problems isn't any specific type of cheese. It's the habit of putting cheese on everything. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. Before you know it, you're eating way more sodium and saturated fat than your body can comfortably handle. And when you combine that with aging blood vessels, it's like stacking weight on a bridge that's already a little worn down. Eventually, something gives. That doesn't mean cheese is the enemy. It just means you need to treat it like a highlight, not the main event. And then there's the one mistake that almost always catches people off guard: low-fat cheese. You'd think it's healthier, right? But here's what most Americans never realize. When companies remove the fat, they replace it with sodium, gums, and additives to keep the texture creamy. So you end up eating more salt, not less. And because it's labeled as light or healthy, people tend to eat more of it. That's how something marketed as healthy turns into a quiet problem. What your body really needs is a moderate amount of real, natural cheese, not the chemical-filled version pretending to be healthier than it is. And here's the part I want you to really sit with. You don't need to quit cheese. You just need to know how your body handles it now compared to how it handled it years ago. When you make small shifts, like choosing pasteurized cheese, avoiding the late-night snacks, pairing it with low-sugar foods, and not piling it onto every meal, you protect your heart, your digestion, your energy, and your sleep. Those little adjustments add up fast. If this changed how you think about cheese even a little bit, hit that subscribe button, because every week we break down health science in a way that actually feels human and useful. No scare tactics, no nonsense. Just the real truth about what keeps you strong as you age.